Of all of the pictures I've posted on my Instagram recently of new work, new editorial work, there was one look that has had more tutorial requests than any other. And it's not the most colourful. But when I looked at it, I thought I can see why, because it's definitely the most universally beautifying. And for me, when I looked at it, I thought I can definitely see why, because it's a simple look that's easy to achieve, and I've certainly done that look on all skin types, all ages. I've done it for day looks for people. I've used that look for the red carpet when somebody wants something that's classic and not, too over the top. And I almost feel like it's the sort of ultimate makeup look for any age, any occasion, and any skin tone. And because it's so easy and it never goes out of fashion, I thought I'd do it today. So I've already done my base. I'm kind of working on my base. I have to tell you, I would have frightened you if I hadn't have done this, because I just came back from Paris Fashion Week. I'm absolutely exhausted. I've got PMS and I'm just so tired. I went to a party 2 nights ago, but I still feel exhausted by it. So I've started doing my base for your own protection. So just do your base however you would normally, depending on whether it's a day or an evening look you want to use this look for. If you use tinted moisturiser, do that. I've just used foundation lightly all over my skin, mainly extra around my chin area because that's where I need it. So adapt it to suit yourself. So for concealer, I'm going to use the Hydra Life, and this is the illuminating one underneath my eyes. Quite like this product by Dior because it's really moisturising. So if you are someone that is not too little bit dry under the eyes, I think it works really well. Or if you are a bit older and you don't want to use a drying concealer, so something that's quite creamy, so just pat into the skin, into the area, mainly where you're dark, and it's just very nice and light, but it does a really nice job. And now I'm doing pinpoint concealing just anywhere that you need extra coverage. I'm using the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage just to cover any blemishes or any scars, small areas or large areas. So while we're still on the wet side of the makeup, so still doing the base with liquid products, I'm just applying here Eclat Miracle, which is the highlighter. I like this one because it's good on lots of different skin tones because it's very, very transparent, because some of them are a bit white. But obviously choose one that really works best with your skin tone because you want it to look natural and blend into the skin. So if you prefer to use cream blusher, then you should use that now. I'm going to use a powder blusher to create this look. So I'm going to now powder my skin. Just going to powder it really lightly though, around the T-zone, and set any concealing that I've done. So before I do my eyeshadow, I'm just going to use some primer, and this is the Urban Decay Primer Potion. Just lightly over my eyelids. This will just really help to stop it from creasing. So onto the eyeshadow, and the eyes in this look was just really about a natural sculpted eye. It wasn't particularly about anything super colourful or dramatic. It was about just beautifying the eye, making your eye look as beautiful as it possibly can be. And the kind of thing that I used to create this was just a regular eyeshadow palette. You know, quads or trios that you can buy from any brand. They all tend to have a light colour which you can use as a base, a medium colour that you can use to shade, and then a darker colour that you can use for extra sculpting or for lining, and then a highlighter colour. And the kind of tones would really depend on your natural skin tone. But obviously, if you are very pale, then the sort of nudie, light taupey browns with the greys, things that look very sort of natural on your skin tone, but still define. Likewise, if you've got darker skin. So, I mean, I'm just picking up the Naked palette here, simply because it's just quite a good example of having a lot of kind of natural colours together. So yeah, I mean, with darker skin tones you want something sort of a richer brown with even the black that you can mix with the grey. If you're in the lighter sort of skin tones, you want something lighter, these lighter greys, and you're just mixing those together. But most companies, I mean, Chanel obviously do the classic quads, Rimmel do great quads, Pixie Beauty do really nice quad palettes, and I'm sure you already own something like that. So I'm going to start by using, I'll stick with the Urban Decay palette, and I'm going to use Foxy, which is this sort of quite light and quite warm colour as a base. And most of the quads have something that's kind of designed to be used as a base. And what you do is you just take that all over the eyelid. And you don't have to pack it on so much that you kind of see, you know, it looks very stark. You don't want that. You just want, so it evens out the skin tone on the eyes, but at the same time you're not looking suddenly really weird and strange. Then going in, for me, I would choose something which is a kind of mid-tone colour. So from this palette, I would probably choose Snake Centre, which is a sort of elephanty, browny, taupey colour. And then just working that into your natural socket. So it depends, if you've got hooded eyes, you can still do this look. If you've got Asian eyes, you can still do this look. And it's really about just tracing your natural socket, because you're sculpting your eye. You're giving the illusion of more depth where there is either no depth or a little bit of depth, and then you're using the lighter colours to really bring those highlights forward, bringing your brow bones forward, bringing your lids forward. So I'm going to use this. I don't have hooded eyes, but I'd say they're quite heavy, my lids, so I have to do this with my eyes open, and this is certainly how you would do it if you had either an Asian eye or a hooded eye. So you just want to map out where roughly that shape is, and then clean up your brush and then just blend. And when you're applying eyeshadow, don't press too hard. Keep it really fluid. Lots of circles, blending, blending, blending. The key is really in the blending. Just keep going. Most people I see out and about, I just feel like the eyeshadow is never quite blended enough. Could have done a bit more blending. So you start to get that look, you can see compared to my other eye, where there's just more of a shape developing in the eye. It's just really bringing out the natural contours. So the next element of the makeup is eyeliner, and you can either use a pencil or a gel. I used a gel on the model, so I'm going to use a black Bobbi Brown gel. And it's really about working it into the roots of the lashes to define the eye. And this makeup looks great in any kind of photography as well. Really nice defining eye. Just pat along. I think the softer it is, the better. So you almost don't want to draw a really solid line. And then you can use a brush or a Q-tip just to kind of smudge and blend in the edges. When you get to the outer edge and when you're finished, just looking ahead into a mirror, we're not going to do a wing or anything, but you're just sort of finishing it off. So just a few dabs at the outer corner. And this, as I say, is great if your eyes are go down at the edge, because you're going to stop before you get to the edge. And then just do a few taps looking straight ahead. It's just really about finishing off the shape. So now I'm going to use what would normally be the mid-tone in a quad of eyeshadows. I'm going to use Suspect. And this is just a lighter version of the browny grey colour that I used on the top in the socket. So it's just a softer thing, because I'm not doing a smoky eye. I'm just doing a sort of naturally defined eye. I'm going to finish off with the lightest shade. So if you're using a quad, in this case it's Booty Call from the Urban Decay Naked palette. And that would go just on the high point, right under the arch. And again, don't put too much on, it can start to look really dated. But if you just put a small amount on, it's really, really effective. Just at the high point. You can also use this if you want to at the inner corner of the eyes. And again, it doesn't have to be super strong. I mean, if you're doing this exact same look for the evening, you can increase it as opposed to during the day. So the next step in this makeup was eyelash curling. So give a really good curl on the eyelashes. You can see how instantly your eyes just look more awake and more open. So I'm going to use the DHC mascara in black. And when you apply your mascara in this look, it's really, really important that you are right down to the roots of the lashes, because we're doing the ultimate defining and beautifying makeup. We want the majority of the mascara right down at the roots. Otherwise it doesn't really do anything. If you just put lots of coats on the edge of the end of the lashes, it doesn't help to define them at all. So really work into those roots and then bring the wand through the lashes. Then you start to really kind of get definition right at the roots. For brows, we want a really nice defined brow. So I'm just going to brush them down there, and using the Suku brow powder palette. This is actually the brush that comes with it, but it's really nice. I'm going to fill in that shape. It's all about having a real nice arch. And then once you have that, you can work on either extending the length, then you'll have less on the brush, so it won't be as harsh, and filling in any gaps that you have there. So just a nice polished and defined brow. So next I'm going to use some brow gel, and this is just great for really holding the brows in shape. Just run all through, and then you can kind of comb them into shape. Or you could spray some Stronghold hairspray onto a brush and then take that brush through the brows. So the next stage of this makeup will be a little bit of sculpting. I'm using a powder sculptor, which is why I'm using it now once I've done my powdering. If you prefer to use a cream one, then you should do it earlier on in the makeup, just after you've done the highlighter. So all of the wet products should be used together, and then dry products after that, once you've powdered. So I'm just going to gently run that along under my cheekbones. I have got a video actually all about contouring, so if you want to have a look at that, it's much more in depth. And on top of that, apply blush. This is one by Rimmel. And just sort of keep that again in a quite gentle shape. So on top of the contour, just work it up towards the apple of the cheek and then gently taken out. And you can also bring it up a little bit in a really gentle C shape. And I think in terms of colour, just whatever's your sort of natural colour you use whenever you're doing a sort of natural makeup look. So not too dramatic on the blush. So onto lips. I'm going to use a lip pencil, quite a natural colour, so whichever colour is closest to your natural lips. So for me, I would just go a little tiny bit deeper than this, maybe slightly less blue. If your lips are naturally quite blue, then just warm them up a little bit. This is one by Dior. Once you started applying that pencil onto the lips, then use some lip balm to smooth it in. So you get kind of a stain on the lips, a kind of balmy, pencil-y stain. And then you can go back in with the pencil and do all your corrections. So any corrections you do, you should buff onto the lips as well. And don't forget to pat. And then for lips, on top of this pencil and balm, you can either put a tinted lip balm if you have very dry lips, or you could use a lipstick. And I'm going to use this lipstick, which is quite a good pinky brown colour, so really not much different to the colour that I've already created. And it's very close again to my natural lip colour. So that's the finished look, and it's a look that can either be dialed down if you want it a little bit softer, or dialed up if you prefer a stronger look, or if it's for evening. But I think it's just one of those classic makeup looks that every woman should have in her makeup wardrobe. The only thing you need to be mindful of is the shades you choose. Obviously, you want shades that suit your skin tone. And if you go to shops like Inglot or MAC, they can actually help you to create your own custom palette. So you can spend time and find the 4 shades that will help you to achieve this look exactly for your skin tone. And likewise, in terms of the shape of your eyes, for example, the shape of your face, it can all be adapted. But it's definitely worth learning. It's a classic. It never goes out of fashion. And it's great for all ages as well.